Well, hey, it's Rob, and this is the interesting history of the bass line from Tears for Fears. Everybody Wants to Rule the World. A huge hit that, from my memory, and of course I never bothered to do the research, but came out around 1985, I think. Maybe I was going to say right around 1985, because I know, because we were living in off-campus housing then. That was my second year at Michigan State University. And one of the guys I lived with bought a CD player, the first one I had ever seen, so it must have been around 85 or 86. Back when you had to buy a CD for $35 because the store only had a half dozen of them, and they were super expensive. Anyway, this was songs from The Big Chair, one of the first CDs I had ever heard. And of course, this was a big hit on there. Everybody Wants to Rule the World. Now, what am I getting at? Well, the bass part from Everybody Wants to Rule the World is sampled, or at least influenced, by a different song, which is Simple Minds' Waterfront. Kind of a minor hit for them, and I think, again, just going back on my memory, Waterfront's probably around 1983. It has this really repetitive one-note bass part. Now, it does change. It doesn't just stay that same note throughout the song. The rhythm is the same, but it goes from D, and then it goes down to F, G, B flat, whatever. But anyway, the basic riff, and I've got it here, recreated on my Casio SK1 sampling keyboard. If you don't know what this thing is, well, this was like the first commercial sampler you could get. It sounds horrible. It barely has any volume, but you are able to sample just a half second or whatever of sound and play it back. And interestingly enough, the bass part from Simple Minds' Waterfront was a sample. They bought an amplifier, and that amplifier, for some reason, had a built-in sampler, which you could sample again, like a half a second of music or whatever. So they played one bass note. It went over and over and over again. They liked the rhythm and the sound, and I think that is what you hear, or at least that influenced what you hear on the song Waterfront. So the bass part is in D, and if I can do this without messing anything up and get the speaker right up here, because it doesn't really make much noise, this is your bass part from Waterfront. There we go. All right, so I have to really, fake it, because this can't record long enough to, get the whole line down. Anyway, so that's it. It's a part in D. It's just a repetitive, figure in the key of D. That's the song Waterfront by Simple Minds. Now, if you listen to Everybody Wants to Rule the World, which is a song that came out a couple of years later by Tears for Fears, you will hear a very similar bass part, because they sampled the sample that was used on Waterfront, this one, and they basically just transposed it down an octave. Both songs are in D. So on Everybody Wants to Rule the World, you're getting this. Now, it doesn't really sound like it. Uh-oh, I lost my sample. Where'd it go? Oh well, you get the idea. So anyway, what they did was they just transposed it, or they played a lower octave along with the regular D note from the Simple Minds song, and you get kind of a lower sound, but it's that same shuffle, it is that same rhythm, and apparently it is the same sound, from what I gather, that originally was found on that Simple Minds Waterfront song, which in itself was a sample, and then the sample was sampled for Tears for Fears, Everybody Wants to Rule the World. All right. Hopefully I got my point across. Later.